Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video from the Game about how they've already solved Chapter 8 of Garten of Banban. Now, let's hop in and see what they're talking about.
Banban is one big mistake. No, I'm not talking about the games. Banban himself is a mistake.
Character.
But now, he's going to be replaced. And that is much worse.
I mean, if you've played the Zero chapter, you kind of already know, yes, that is what was going to happen. But then something locked in a closet.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that would never cheat during a game of hide and seek.
I saw you peek. There's no way you found me that easily.
But you know who has been hiding from us for a while? The old red devil himself, Banban. It's been over 8.5 months since we last got ourselves a mainline Garten of Banban game. That's nearly twice as long as the previous longest Banban drought. And while I normally call that a win for my sanity, I gotta say, I kinda miss the... Never mind. And so, after the epic conclusion of Garten of Banban 7, I was intrigued by what Banban 8 would offer. Only, we didn't get Banban 8. We got Banban 0. For a game about a kindergarten, this series sure does struggle with basic counting. Though, I suppose there is a reason behind this one.
I mean, I still don't think we've gone number 5, have we? Nope, not at all. Oh, we've gone on 1, 2, 3, 4... 6, 7, 0, 8. We still haven't gone 5. Oh, wait, you're already talking about that. Whoops.
Struggle with basic counting. Though, I suppose there is a reason behind this one. Garten of Banban 0 is a prequel, taking place before all the other games in the series, back when the mascots were all just little babies. I mean, little babies. And it turns out that spending more time on your game leads to a better final product.
That's fun. I like that.
You're learning, Euphoric Bros. You're learning. But
Yes,
we're not here to talk about how good the game is or how freaking adorable Truffle Toot is.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. Yeah, Truffle Toot, better mascot than even Banban. I.e., where's the plushie, man? Where's the plushie with the light in the belly?
Spoiler, he is my son, and I love him. We're also not here to talk about the lore either. At least not entirely. Because while it is suitably insane for this channel, the thing that's been even more insane is the science. If you watched our last theory, you'll know that I have been a bit obsessed with what the heck the series' main MacGuffin actually is. The green dude that created the mascots, Givanium. Previously, we theorized that Givanium was the genetic material of a particular kind of flatworm mixed with a gene editing technology. And now, thanks to Garten of Banban 0, we not only have more details that tell us exactly what Givanium is, but as a result, we're able to predict exactly what's going to happen when Banban 8 does finally happen. So hold on to Truffle Toot real tight, loyal theorists, because we're gonna shine a light on the science lurking in the caverns of Garten of Banban 0. Unlike previous editions in the series, we're not playing as a parent desperately looking for their missing child. Instead, we actually play as an unnamed mascot who has just awoken for the first time in the facility. We meet Banban and the other mascots and play a bit of hide and seek until a certain familiar face shows.
Oh, that's actually the thing though. While we do know their names already, they don't. So they call themselves, you know, specimen blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Goes up Syringian, who begins hella scheming with Banban.
We have to do something, and I might just know what exactly.
Apparently, Banban is about to be replaced, but Syringian has a plan to save him, and it has to happen tonight. Later that night, Banban comes into our room and wakes us up to go on some sort of adventure. Red, that's pretty sus. We solve some puzzles, we meet Truffle Toot, my goat, but eventually, Banban tries to sacrifice us to this giant half-ram, half-snake thing. Oh no, who would have ever seen this coming?
Literally
Thankfully, we're saved at the last moment by the selflessness of Nab Nab. We get our final chase sequence and Banban shuts us in a closet, promising to come back for us eventually. And roll credits. Now, if you've got a Banban brain rot like me, first of all, I'm so sorry. But you will recognize this closet from the first trailer of Garten of Banban 8.
Hi. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we were playing as that character. Well, that's a 100% confirmation now.
You think? We were little kids when you locked me in here. But this does officially reveal to us who we are playing as throughout Banban Zero, the blue Banban known as Flumbo. He was first teased at the end of Garten of Banban 7 when our character peeled back a sticker of Banban off a wall to reveal Flumbo underneath. Dramatic stinger! Oh, no.
No, not you, Flynn.
Not you, Stinger Flynn. You're not in this game. Thank goodness. But all of this just opens up more questions than it answers. Why was Banban being replaced? Why Flumbo? And why is Banban planning on setting Flumbo free in the next game when he was the one who locked him away in the first place? Well, to begin answering all those questions, we need to look...
We have a lot of questions.
Where Banban always hides its juiciest lore, the hidden notes scattered throughout the facility. According to one of the case reports, the decision to axe Banban came about after they injected Banban with a new strain of Givanium, with the hope that it would make him more docile and obedient. Unfortunately, it sort of had the opposite effect. Quote, at seemingly random intervals, Case 6 would experience extremely violent, aggressive, disobedient episodes, where it would attack anything in sight. Physical transformations during these episodes have also been observed. This was the start of Banban's hyper-aggressive, super strong, wild state that we've seen Banban transform into many times in previous games. Apparently,
his alias may be the devil, but when that happens, he truly is the devil.
Over 200 people have been injured as a result of Banban's sudden rage, with a fatality rate of around 10%. Those are not great numbers when Banban is supposed to be the mascot of...
That means he killed 20 people.
Checks notes. A freaking kindergarten! So, this new strain is apparently causing problems for our dear friend Banban because it's mixing with the old strain within his body. But why? Well, in our previous theory, we concluded that Givanium was actually DNA mixed with the gene editing technology CRISPR-Cas9. Specifically, it was the DNA from a species of flatworm called Bipalium coense. It had the uncanny ability to regrow back body parts after being damaged.
Regeneration!
It seems like all the other experiments can do after suffering major injuries. It had a non-mammal-like circulatory system, it could regenerate its own memories, and its head even looked like Syringians. Now in Banban Zero, we're given even more evidence that this is in fact the case, or at least the DNA part. Written on the whiteboard in the secret room is a message that says Givanium can proliferate indefinitely, just like how DNA can theoretically self-replicate, making more and more copies of itself basically forever. Therefore, with Givanium being DNA, that would mean that we now have two similar but slightly different strains of DNA. Not different enough to be classified as a new genome, but not similar enough that everything just works as the scientists would expect. And that is something we can actually witness for ourselves if we step outside of the four walls of this ungodly kindergarten and into the world of species hybridization. Normally, scientists define a species as a group of organisms who are able to mate with each other to produce viable offspring. For example, every human on Earth can theoretically...
Wait, is this technically going to be talking about like Legos?
...produce a viable human offspring with any other human on Earth. Therefore, all humans are part of the same species. Meanwhile, other organisms, even closely related ones like chimps, are excluded from our species. But of course, nature has a funny way of really messing with our clearly defined and agreed upon definitions. Because there are some organisms who technically aren't.
That's right, a horse and a donkey can breed and create a mule.
Part of the same species, but they can produce offspring, with a few catches. For example, donkeys and horses are able to produce offspring known as a mule. You can get wolf dogs, which I think you can guess how you get that. One of my favorites when I was a kid was the liger, a mix of a male lion and a female tiger. And they were my favorite.
And you actually can do the inverse with a male tiger and a female lion, but it's not called a liger. You get a tigon with the other way. So you get a liger and a tigon.
I realized that these hybrid animals don't exactly live the best lives. More often than not, these hybrids come with a whole host of problems as a direct result of them mixing their genes together. First off, many of these new hybrid creatures, such as the mule, once created, are unable to make offspring of their own. My formerly beloved ligers have been documented to suffer with organ failure, neurological defects, cancer, arthritis, and other mutations. There's also some research that indicates indicates that these hybrid cats and wolf dogs can have a whole host of behavioral problems, including being
bet.
way more aggressive than either of their parent species, just like Banban. The scientists must have thought, these species are close enough, how much harm could it possibly do? The answer is a lot.
Your scientists were so preoccupied
Yeah, 200 people in a hospital with 20 dying.
with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
But the question I have is, what species is this new strain from? It need to be something
That
genetically
is a
close
new
to the
question.
current strain of Givanium by Palium coense in order to still be considered Givanium rather than a new genome. The scientists were also trying to find ways to make Banban more cooperative, more docile, more suitable for their evil plans of running a kindergarten. Similarly, whatever species
money.
you find should also
I guess you could say these guys really were just trying to do business.
demonstrate some of the
I went
traits
too
we've
deep
seen
there.
manifest in Banban post-injection, like his animalistic hunger and, of course, his
For
love of
pancreas.
pancreases. And I found just what the Dr. Uthman ordered. It's Mr. Mind? No, that can't be right.
What the-
Tapeworm, Velvet. What are all these DC characters doing in my Banban episode? Oh, it's because today's sponsor
Oh,
is the
okay.
new official strategy game from DC, DC Dark Legion. This new game for iOS,
All
Google
right,
Play, and
let's hit
PC
it.
puts you smack dab in the middle of the DC universe, which is
Ooh,
under
Scarecrow.
attack from the Batman Who Laughs, a terrifying fusion of the Caped Crusader and the Joker, accompanied by
Not the typical transformation or fusion that you'd be thinking of. In actual comic lore, well, the Batman Who Laughs is what happens when you take a Batman and have him infected by the Joker virus laughing gas stuff and not cured. Starts off simple with him laughing at death before turning into a skinny, how do I put this? Fuckboy.
his Dark Knights, evil versions of Batman himself from the Dark Multiverse.
Wow, that's a lot
See,
of them.
guys, I told you hybrids were a bad idea. Though what was a good idea was the developers using a high-quality comic book art style that makes it feel like a comic book world come to life. And even if that world is
Ooh, Blue
fighting
Beetle.
against evil, it's gotta be better than this hell of a kindergarten we find ourselves in. Plus, you guys know that I love me a strategy game, and with over 50 playable characters available from launch,
Thing is, I actually love the lore behind each of the Dog Batmans because they're interesting. I mean, you have a skinny Bruce Wayne who became the embodiment of the night with a Green Lantern ring. You have one that became pretty much death itself by using the speed force of the Flash of his world to become a speedster. Oh, hell, you even have one that went to, I think, Themyscira, Wonder Woman's area, defeated Ares, put on his armor, and became the new God of War, something like that. It's been a while since I've actually heard the lore, so I recommend checking out that before you actually do the game itself, because the lore itself is what can draw you in.
it's been so fun to experiment with mixing heroes and villains together to create and train the ultimate team. Oh no,
Killer
I'm
Croc.
becoming more like Banban by the minute. Quickly, click the link in the description and download the game today before I have any more existential crises. The game is completely free to play, and in just over a month, you can collect over 350 hero pools and unlock almost every champion, which is pretty impressive by itself. But to give you guys a head start,
Hey,
you can
look,
also
Batman
use my
look.
code DCDL999 to get a load of resources and 3 hero pools from day 1. So again, check out the link in the description and help save the world from the Dark Multiverse. Thanks again to DC Dark Legion for sponsoring this video, but now
John
I have to get
Constance.
back to trying to save what little scientific dignity Banban has left. The species I found that fits the bill
Okay,
for this
here we
new
go.
Givanium strain is a species known as Gerardia doritocephala, or GD for short. Much like our old strain, GD is a type of planaria, sharing a lot of the same genes and characteristics, like their ability to regrow half of their bodies when damaged. But on top of that,
Regeneration,
GD has a
yes.
ton of other characteristics that fit everything the scientists were looking for. First, location. Last time we mentioned that
Oh, yeah?
Givanium comes from our neighbors, quote, down south. We have a ticket for a flight coming out of Montreal, so their southern neighbors are almost certainly the United States. We also said that our previous strain, Coense, fits the bill because it came from the US. Except that's not
wait.
entirely accurate. Coense is actually from Asia, but was
Oh.
accidentally introduced to North America, so it's considered an invasive species. GD, on the other hand, is native to North America. This not only
There
fits
it
the bill
is.
much better, but
Okay.
it also reflects what the scientists were looking for. Coense is invasive and disruptive to its environment, whereas GD is not disruptive. It is heart of the ecosystem,
It's
and so
meant to be,
likely
though,
will
yes.
play nicer than an invasive species like the old Givanium strain. There's also the matter of where in the environment you can find these little flat boys. GD tends to be found in surface freshwater environments like ponds and especially flowing rivers. Living in a river, you not
okay.
only have to contend with flowing water, but also every other creature that makes it home, dirt and dust running off into the river, and just the general chaos of that environment. Plus, there have been a bunch of studies on GD specifically that show when put under environmental stress, they were incredibly quick to adapt and highly resistant to those stresses, even going so far as to physically change the environment around them, like the pH of the water or soil, in order to keep their bodies working optimally.
Oh, now that is truly impressive.
Meanwhile, Coents lives in what is probably the opposite of a stimulating environment. Coents mainly feed on earthworms, and where do earthworms live? In the dark, damp world, underground, under rocks, away from just about everything. And
That's
remember,
right.
the ultimate goal of these Givanium creatures was to have them be interacting with children in a kindergarten. And if you've ever spent, I don't know, 5 seconds in a kindergarten before, you know they tend to be pretty chaotic places. So while an old strain of
extremely.
Banban might be able to handle the cold, dark caverns of the basement of the kindergarten, these violent outbursts will only get worse when he's overstimulated in the kindergarten classroom, while the new strain from GD would likely have a much better time with it, and may even be proactive in lowering the stress of that environment for its own survival. Our new strain of Givanium also happens to have a more varied appetite. Last time I said that Coents would eat rotting flesh and organs like pancreases. Well, this is where I have to apologize a bit. The study I used for that point does say that certain planarians do that. It's just that Coents isn't actually one of them. They pretty much stick to exclusively earthworms like their Phil and Lil from the Rugrats. But do you want to guess what planarian the study said
So I haven't watched the Rugrats in years like most people, so I don't remember.
did enjoy pancreas? GD. So after a little injection from this new strain, it's no wonder Banban might have developed a more aggressive diet. So my bad for making that mistake in the last episode, but hey, it worked out in the long run.
Now.
There's also the side effects the scientists didn't mention, like how Coents happens to produce a substance known as TTX, which is let's see here, a super dangerous neurotoxin. GLaDOS, eat your heart out.
crap.
But yeah, not exactly what you want around children.
Yeah, that's
or
not good at
adults,
all.
for that matter. Thankfully, our new strain, GD, is 100% TTX free. But the real reason that GD fits our potential new strain of Givanium the best, and why the scientists at the kindergarten would be super interested in this species in particular, has to do with the flatworm's superpower. As I've already mentioned, flatworms have the uncanny ability to regrow entire parts of their body. If you cut a flatworm in half, not only will the head grow back its tail, but the discarded tail will also grow back a replacement head. What's even freakier is that the tail that regrew the entire new head will somehow retain some of the memories of its decapitated head. And GD takes this superpower to an even bigger extreme. In one study, scientists took a
Damn, looks like we have a real-life Wolverine.
bunch of GD worms and divided them into 2 groups. One group was trained using electric shocks to avoid a particular light, while the other group was left as a control. Then the scientists brought in a separate group of GD worms that hadn't been trained in anything and had these new worms eat the experimental groups. And what they found afterwards was shocking. They found that the worms who had not been trained to avoid the light but did eat the worms who had were significantly better at avoiding the light than the worms who had eaten the non-trained worms. Basically, the memories of one worm was transferred to another after being eaten. Nature is wild.
That is,
if this kindergarten's goal is to make Banban more obedient and docile, one way they could do that is to try and get him to remember more of his docile human self. Banban's human genome donor was Dr. Uthman, a scientist at the facility, one that knows about the experiments and why everything is being done. If Banban can unlock more of the doctor's memories, then he likely would be more docile, more cooperative, as he would remember what his true purpose is. And we can confirm that this memory transferring ability is something the scientists are aware of, because during Banban Zero, when Syringian is having a sneaky conversation with Banban, he says this.
I've also nabbed that doctor's samples as promised. I am certain they'll drive away your issue. You'll be a new you.
Doctor samples? Like DNA samples? Syringian is planning on adding more of Dr. Uthman's samples to Banban in order to make him remember his past, to make him less prone to his aggressive outbursts. And we know this works
Will that
because
work,
at other
though?
points in the series, Banban has more memories of being Dr. Uthman, even thinking that he is Dr. Uthman at one point. And this makes him more, quote, docile and cooperative. Exactly what the scientists wanted. But all of that comes later. As far as the scientists are concerned, during Banban 0, giving Banban the new strain has been a failure, and they plan on moving on from him and training up a replacement.
How would you actually scrap any of these creatures? I mean, if they have the hyper regeneration that we're thinking they have, then how would you actually even be able to kill them? Then again, Biddlegiggle was killed by Toadstool.
Flumbo. But remind me again, how did the scientists refer to getting rid of Banban? They didn't say they were destroying him or killing him. They are repurposing him. And that was when everything began to click into place. Flumbo was created to take Banban's place, made purely out of the new strain of Givanium to avoid the mistakes from before. A strain that allows Flumbo to absorb the memories of any creature he consumes. Banban's new purpose was to be food for Flumbo. Flumbo would then gain even more of Dr. Uthman's memories, making him more intelligent and more docile, while avoiding all the side effects brought on by hybridization.
No double
That's why
transformation.
when we first wake up as Flumbo, they start immediately asking us questions about our memory. They're figuring out the starting point, which they will then test again once we've eaten Banban. But of course,
Now that is
Banban
good.
didn't let that happen. Although, according to the study, GD only really become cannibalistic like this when they're hungry. So as long as Banban kept Flumbo well fed and not locked away for years, he'd likely never get to the point of wanting to eat him anyway. Now, there is a chance that Banban
Yeah,
is actually
classic.
banking on this detail, using Flumbo's hunger to eat his way through all of the other experiments that stand in his way.
Oh no,
Problem
not
is,
Trouble
he's
Toot.
going to absorb more and more memories and abilities each time he does. And with the newest trailer being called Retribution, and with images like letters glitching
Ooh.
from red to blue, this game seems to be setting up an epic conflict between Flumbo and Banban, a battle of the devils. Because now that Flumbo is out, he's going to be hungry for two things: flesh and revenge. But hey, that's just a theory.
This
a
is gonna be
game
good.
theory. Thanks for watching. World premiere.
Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.